Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's cryptocurrencies update for September 8, 2023. Yesterday evening, I must admit, it looked quite good for our currencies, as it looks like we had a potential second up day in a row, but unfortunately, overnight, it got slammed down once again. So we're still stuck in a rather sideways market. That gives us plenty of time to shop around and see what other people are thinking. 2, no more than 1. 3, no, definitely more than 1. But at some point, we also got to give up because we don't want to chase tails and get confused by analysis paralysis, right? The paralysis analysis, whatever way you want to put it. So let's go straight to the charts and see what we have and what I mean. Here is Bitcoin. Look good. We had a nice pop yesterday and we're back to where we came from. So we still have those 3 options on the table with one of the preferred ones shown here. I also want to point out some irregularities that are going on that really things are in a kind of weirdish place. This is Ethereum. Ethereum was down about 0.7% for the day. Also, Ethereum has done nothing, right? Nothing almost for all of 2023 by now. Meanwhile, look at ETHE, right? ETHE is supposed to track Ethereum, and it's up 2.5%. I'm casting my chips on ETHE today, and I'll wait again to see what happens. I'm up nicely. It's like profits is profits. Regardless, quite the difference, up 2.5%, while the underlying is down 0.7%. This kind of shows you that sentiment can be quite different, as this is most likely in regards to the spot ETFs that a lot of funds are working on, and everybody wants to be first. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, if you want to be first, but that's what it is. So it looks like investors are betting on these spot ETFs to happen. And I think they will happen eventually. It's all a matter of time, and it's all a matter of who and when and where, all that stuff. So quite a bifurcated market. You'd think ETHE would be down because, Bitcoin is down 1.4%. And if you look at GBTC, for example, let's move down. GBTC is about break even, 0%. Yeah, matches it a little bit better. This option is still available for GBTC. That is going to decline. The underlying is different, but we're going to treat every single chart on its own. Same for ETHE, though this one starts to look rather bullish. It needs to break below last week's low to target into the single digits, okay? So this is quite a different setup. Now, meanwhile, Mara tanked 12% today, if not more. Weird, huh? This is quite a weird market. This starts to tell me that we are in a new phase. And I found this fantastic thread by what is called CryptoCon, right? It's a technical analyst. And in this tweet, I think it was from yesterday, day before yesterday, he says, I might finally have corrected the Bitcoin code. So he's using 4-year time cycles. It's a theory, it's nothing proven, but it's quite darn good. That's why I want to share it with you. And this is not really based on the halving cycles, all right? They're centered around it, but it's not just from one halving to the next half. So he goes over his reasoning on why things are currently the way they are and why they have been, right? If you have a good model, the model should, of course, be able to hindcast well, and of course to forecast well. The only way you know your forecast is reliable if it can hindcast, if it can predict what happened in the past reasonably. If it can't, then of course your forecast is not reliable. Bottom line is he thinks the bull run will launch not until November 28, 2024. Hold your horses, okay? Then the next stop will be around November 28, 2025, and the bottom 2026. And he provides a beautiful chart going all the way back to 2010, and he has different phases for the bull and bear run, similarly to those phases I mentioned in last week's email Remember, I said we were most likely in phase 1 or phase 2. And this is exactly what CryptoCon has found as well, but then based on a timing perspective. And we are now, if we go into a little more detail, phase 1, which is the accumulation phase. The current phase we're in is quite similar. This is here versus here versus here versus here. Okay, I know this is a log scale. There can be quite some dramatic declines our way, but we're definitely not in a topping cycle. Again, as long as this holds. It did well in 2000. So far, it's done well. 2013, 17, 21, etc. Okay, so we need a little bit more meat on the bone, and accordingly, the bull run has launched. Right, the bull run has launched here. Okay, and we've passed the cycle. So we have 4 cycles: cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4. We're currently in the 4th cycle, and actually we are in the first phase of this cycle. So we had here our first halving, we had here our second halving in 2016, and then we had, I think, our third halving coming up somewhere 2024. Regardless, green years are accumulation years, blue years are preparation years, third years are new all-time highs, fourth years are bear markets. All right, let's start off with the end. We had a bear market in phase 4. Bear market, phase 4. Bear market, phase 4. Accumulation happened here in 2021. Then we had the preparation for the bull here, right? We kind of bottomed out and back to where we came from. And then we went into straight the new all-time highs phase. That is phase 3, bear market. 2015, this is our accumulation phase. It's a year long. And then here is our preparation phase. It's preparing us for the next bull run. This is the same phase as I described in the email I sent you. Then we get the bear market. All right. Here, preparation or accumulation phase. All right. All accumulation. Here we have the preparation, new all-time highs. Okay. And again, so new all-time highs, bear market. So we are now in a accumulation phase. Not in a bear market phase, not at all. Accumulation phase, remember, is where the interest in Bitcoin is extremely low. And this is where nobody is interested in cryptos anymore. Let me have a look at what I mentioned. All right, so phase 1 is the accumulation phase. Right? So far, so good. Early bull market, that is our preparation phase. And then, of course, we have our peak. It's the third years. It's the new bull market, the 5th year. 4th is the bear market, cool down phase. Nothing out of the ordinary. I love this because it matches exactly what I described late August, right? More than a week ago. This is exactly as I described. So, and I said we're somewhere in phase 1 or phase 2. Well, according to the data and rigorous detailed analysis, we are now in the accumulation phase. Okay, very nice. I like it. This also tells us that new all-time highs will have to wait a little bit, but we can already get good runs in our preparation phase. So this tells us that we can still expect some weakness. It's still possible you see some more weakness and then a rally. Okay, so please keep that in mind. We're definitely not in the bear market phase. It doesn't match the cycles, doesn't match price action, none of it. So I wanted to really share this with you. I think it was a great find. I'll share this with you in a link so you can have a look. So please, if you don't have Twitter, or these days it's called X, you don't have X, you got to sign up for it. There's so much good stuff to find that is really useful. I know it doesn't give us any predictions whatsoever on where price will go. Only the Elliott wave can do that for you. And I would say the logarithmic growth curves that we're seeing that are pointing towards into the 650 to 2 million for Bitcoin. It's very, very possible. But it also shows us we shouldn't expect a bear market until somewhere late 2025 and 2026. And that's, I can slice and dice it any way you want, but that's really all there is to it. Again, I love it how this chart confirms my email of the 4 phases in Bitcoin, cycles we are currently in, that we are now moving towards the next halving cycle. And again, those halving cycles will have less and less of an impact because we are, of course, in a logarithmic growth curve. Okay, the absolute gains will be, of course, tremendous, going from 16,000 to 60 million, but the relative gains will be much less, going from 1 cent to $1, right, or to $10 is a lot more than going from 1,000 to 10,000 in percent terms. In nominal terms, it's fantastic. So that's all I have for you today. We'll simply have to wait for this sideways garbage to stop. Meanwhile, this is true power, because this is knowing where we are and if we should be patient or impatient, and if we should accumulate or if we should sell. It all suggests selling. I already said it. We're in the accumulation phase, but trust me, nobody's interested. And that's been the case now 3 cycles in a row. So I bet you the 4th cycle will be the same. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a patient premium member. I wish it was a raging bull market. We're not there yet. And you say, well, I'm just going to sit and wait for it, do something else in the meantime. Please remember, it will hit you faster than you can open the door. This will slam you in the face. Take care. Trade safe. See you all next week.